even though I'm an introvert, when I'm on stage, I like to talk to the crowd and have people like yelling back, and like it's just more fun.
Bring everyone into your introversion.
Yeah, like
come join me.
Turn it into a conversation in a way, and then I'll go and hide off stage afterwards.
What's good, lovely people? Welcome to another episode of Den Devine Sessions. This is recorded live from Den Devine, a music venue right here in Broadbeach, Gold Coast, Australia. I'm your host, Joseph Brown, a musician, a creator, and a passionate advocate for all things music. With years of experience on the stage and behind the scenes, I'm here to bring you stories from the heart of the music industry. Whether you're an upcoming musician, a seasoned pro, or dedicated music fan, this podcast is for you. Let's get into the episode.
It's Den Devine time. Den Devine. Den Devine. Den Devine time.
This podcast is brought to you by Vemu, Rethinking Live Music.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Den Devine Sessions. We are here at an awesome little venue in the Gold Coast in Broadbeach. It's a beautiful sunny day. I'm here with a very special guest. I'm going to let you pronounce your name again so I don't get it wrong.
It's Majelen.
Majelen?
Yeah.
Majelen. Where's that name from?
It was made up by my auntie, and it just kind of so I have a couple of siblings, and we all got like this extra word added to our names when we were little.
Yeah. That
rhymes with our names, and so I ended up just chopping off my name and keeping Majelen.
That's awesome. I like the name too.
Thank you.
I didn't know if it was a Majelen or what did I say in my head? I don't know. But now I know. Now everyone knows. I'm probably the last of the party here. Welcome to the conversation. We're here to talk about the music industry, and we like to get, real and just honest and raw.
Nice.
So I appreciate you coming along and joining us on this journey. First things first, tell me a little bit about yourself and what got you into the music scene and what made you just say, this is my thing.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been playing music since before I can remember. And I think as soon as I found a guitar when I was like 13, I was like, this is what I want to do forever and ever, because it just makes my brain calm. Like I just feel peaceful when I play guitar.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to like figure out a way to just do that forever, because it makes me happy and it makes other people happy. And yeah, so I found a guitar at 13 in the garden shed that was like filled with cockroaches and pretty disgusting, but I made it work. And then eventually I got a new guitar. My parents bought me one, and I got into the Conservatorium of Music and studied jazz guitar, and then toured with bands for a while. And then I started the Majelen thing in like 2018, I think.
Just before COVID.
Yeah, right before
big
COVID.
C.
Good timing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and now we're here.
Now you're here. And how's that journey been? Like, actually I got to ask, what was your first song you learned on the guitar? Was it did you just play, or honestly, full transparency, I haven't watched a lot of your videos. I've been trying to keep up with
God. No, I'm
but I have actually watched a couple.
Yeah.
Has it always been like similar style or did you go through sort of different periods, or like,
Yeah, so I used to play, when I first started, I played a lot of Green Day and Incubus and like rock stuff. I loved the Red Hot Chili Peppers too. In high school, like that was my thing. I liked all that stuff.
It's funny because that was alternative, but now it's pop.
Yeah.
It's pop rock.
It's weird.
Then it was rebellious. Oh, you listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Yeah.
Rebel. Now it's like so
whatever.
mainstream.
Yeah. Like everyone does, mate.
Yeah.
But I started with that stuff, and then I have always loved Tommy Emmanuel.
Yeah.
His style of doing things, and he's just really melodic with how he uses the guitar, and he just makes it sound like it's singing kind of. So I love that side of things. And then obviously the jazz stuff came in once I left school, and that added like I really love like R&B and like soul and blues and all that sort of stuff too. So but I've played in like metal bands, and I've played in just everything. I just love music. So
metal covers?
Yeah.
What was sort of like what sort of metal? New metal?
From
dark metal? There's so much metals.
Not hectic like screamo stuff, but kind of like
System of a Down metal or like Cradle of Filth metal.
Yeah, and then from that to like, you know, what's his name? Trombone Shorty. That sort of rock, but like it wasn't like it was just one genre of stuff. It was very heavily distorted. Wow, like stuff.
Yeah.
But then it would also go and be like Trombone Shorty, like heavier stuff crossed with just groove.
Yeah.
And then trumpets would come out on stage. So it was kind of, it was pretty random, but it was fun.
For sure. And it was obviously like a passion that you know, before it became, you do it full time now, yeah? Is it like a career thing now, or is it?
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. So it was a few years so 2018 was, I'm guessing, that was the time you went, I want to do this full time as a career, or was it?
Yeah, pretty much. I just I lived in my Suzuki Grand Vitara, and I just booked myself a tour down the east coast of Australia and was like, that's it, quitting my job. I mean, to be honest, I was never very good at keeping a job anyway, because I just constantly was like, I'm quitting to go to India. And, you know, that was just me. And then I'd come back. But I've always had a job. Like, I don't know, I've always found it very easy to find work. But it was always like, I'd have a job and I'd play gigs on weekends, but I'd just have this other like random job of some sort at the same time. But then I got to the point where I was like, why am I working for someone else? This is actually really boring and I can make more money on my own. So I'll just do that.
Yeah, I get that as well. You know, and why the music industry? What made you attracted, besides from the music? What was your first experience getting out there? Sort of did you have like people that you knew? Did you have friends that owned venues or booking agents, or what was your first impression of the industry? Were you like, this is not like the movies?
Yeah, it's kind of hard work.
Yeah.
And it's all like, you got to know the right people, and you got to, I think though, for me, like it is about knowing the right people, and it's kind of about hustling, and it's kind of about like trying to put yourself in the right place at the right time to get more connections and stuff. But I think I've never been overly good at that. I just prefer to just be a nice person. Yeah. Which doesn't always work out, because then, you know, you get taken advantage of and people screw you over and all sorts of things. But the industry's kind of difficult, but I just try to tackle it from like, I'm just a human being first, and we're all just human beings, and we all have to make it work for ourselves, and everyone's got to earn a living. So like, let's just do it nicely and be friends and just hang when possible.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just better.
Yeah. And your first sort of gig or two, like, did you find it easy to get in straight into a performing, or did you find some challenges, or did you start off busking, or?
I've never actually really busked much.
No?
I don't like busking because I'm a bit of an introvert. Yeah. And I was a very quiet person until really I started playing jazz. I didn't really talk a whole lot to people that I didn't know. I was very like, it was just safer to just be quiet.
Yeah.
So
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I'm not really a woo, check me out, like on the streets busking sort of person. I find it actually very difficult. So, I mean, I do sometimes. I have busked, and when big crowds show up, it's nice. Yeah. But it's not my favorite thing.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. Yeah.
But yeah, I just started playing just random covers gigs like everybody else does.
Yeah. I still do now a little bit. Yeah. Well, actually, I do. Quite a bit. It's a safe zone, you know. I have kids. So it's better than carrying bricks. Yes. Sorry for all the bricky musos out there. It's a good area to start off. And covers, everyone knows it. You're not going to get much pushback. Yeah. They like, I know this song, and I fully feel you. I don't think any musos. I think the extroverts an act for a lot of musos. Yeah. For me, I'm an introvert that pretends to be an extrovert as a musician. Yeah. Do you feel like that? Like, like you have to do it. Oh, it's part of the job. But it's like every single piece of my social battery is being used in that part of the job.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And then I
100%.
disappear for 3 days.
Yeah.
Sit up
Oh,
in the
good. It's not
forest.
just me.
It's not just you.
Because, oh, man, okay.
It's not
as soon
just,
as I
and
get
people,
off stage, I'm
even
like,
my own wife says to me, "Oh, you're such a social butterfly." I'm like, I'm really good at acting like one.
yeah. You
But-
have to.
Yeah, but this, they say this, the introversion, how you can, I've heard this, right? How you can tell if what you are is what gives you the energy.
Yeah.
And for me, the introversion gives me energy.
Yeah.
Having time for myself is what gives me energy. Some people, they can't be on their own.
Yeah.
And they need that. They need that. Like, and definitely probably the most successful musicians are the ones that are naturally extroverted, right? Because they thrive off that. Give me attention. Me, I don't like it.
Yep.
Don't know
Neither.
why, but I don't. I like my safe space up
Yeah.
on a stage.
Yeah, because that's different because you're like controlling
Yeah,
the
this
room.
is your spot.
Yeah.
You know, they can't come up, the security guard will be like, "Hey, get off that stage."
Yeah.
You're like, "Thank you." I was about to have a heart attack just then, you know?
Someone came near me.
But but once you're out in a crowd, like for me, I'm immediately uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If I'm like having to be an audience person, there's no comfort to me. I'm like, this
True.
feels really weird. This feels strange that I don't know. It's the weird thing. Do you get like that as well?
Yeah, I guess because I don't really watch a lot of gigs. Like I'm normally on the stage.
Yeah.
So to turn around and be the one watching it, it's like, I mean, I don't mind it. Like it's actually kind of like nice because I can just chill out and hang with my wife and that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I said to Courtney, was it last night? Someone was listening to music because on the street where we parked the bus, there was a house down the road. They were listening to music and it was pretty loud. And I was like, it's actually, I really love listening to somebody else having a party.
Yeah.
It's just, but I'm not at the party. Like, I can
You're
be
next
at home
door.
chilling.
You're like, yeah, just crack open a can of whatever. Sit there
Yeah.
on your own. I'm like, that perfect party.
Yeah.
Introvert. We should have an introvert nightclub. where
I
we
know,
just-
right?
Individual
Just
rooms
sit in their own corners.
with their headphones on.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So looking back, so your 2018 is when you sort of took the leap. That's probably the right thing to say. Yeah, you took the big leap and went, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
We're 2024 now. How's that been since 2018? How's the journey been?
Yeah. Well, so it was pretty cool. So when I first started, I did some tours in Australia and then I realized I could kind of just, because I love backpacking and traveling, that's what I've done a lot of since I left school. I realized I could just pick a country and just go there and earn money and travel through the country. So I toured like Vietnam and a bit of Southeast Asia just because I could. And that paid for my holiday.
Wow.
And had a fun time. And then I went to England for a bit, and so I played some shows in England, and then I came back, and then I went to New Zealand for a bit, and I didn't perform much in New Zealand because I was also a horseback trail guide working over there doing that sort of thing too. So that's the other part of my life that
Is horses?
yeah.
Cool. That's
So
awesome.
I did that, and then COVID
That's
hit.
wholesome.
Awesome.
Sorry. It's a dad thing. Yeah.
That's what my dad would say too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I came back from New Zealand and then COVID hit. So yeah, and then it kind of all just stopped for a few years and now we're back into it again.
Yeah. And we're coming out the other end and definitely want to touch base on that transition. I think there's a lot to talk around COVID. People think it's all done, but it's not. It lingers and there's changes so subtly in the music industry that's affecting the bottom half. I should say the bottom 80% of the music industry. Top 20s, they're great. You know, Taylor's filled up another, it's got another extra $1 billion.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's Sharon. So they're all good. But what about the Taylor Swifts here?
Yeah.
You know, anyway, we'll get into that. What I want to ask about is music's international. I get it. Everyone in the world is connected through music, whether you speak the language or not. It's awesome as. What did you find through your experience in playing gigs in different cultures? So doing that, like London as opposed to New Zealand, or as opposed to all the other places that you've played around the world. What was your? Did you what did you learn from those moments?
It's kind of, I think the crowd that you play to makes you kind of learn a little bit about yourself too. So like in Germany, it's really funny because I toured Germany last year and the Germans are so respectful that it scares me. Like
Really?
it's just crazy because you stand on stage and it's like dead silence. Whereas if you're over here, like even though I'm an introvert, when I'm on stage, I like to talk to the crowd and have people like yelling back and like it's just more fun.
Bring everyone into your introversion.
Yeah, like
Join me.
turn it into a conversation in a way, and then I'll go and hide off stage afterwards. But
I get it. Yeah.
But in Germany, I'd be like doing my thing that I would normally do with like London. It's the same. You can just like people want to chat. People that there's like wow, But I don't know what that was. But then Germany, they're so respectful that it's just dead quiet, and you might get someone answering you on stage, maybe a couple of like the dudes in the back would be like, yeah. But it's mostly like shh, like let them perform.
Wow,
that's what I found. And
how did that make you perform?
It was weird at first
because there was no reciprocation.
Yeah, it was like all because and I think the reason I like having the crowd get involved is because they do give me energy back, and it becomes this like thing where I put energy out and then they give energy back. I put out like it's this reciprocal thing. But in Germany, it was just like I just put energy out and it would just like flop out there somewhere, and I didn't know if they were receiving it well or not because I gauge what's going on with the crowd by whatever they give back.
Kiwis are like that.
Yeah,
we only move our eyebrows. You know the Kiwi. It's a weird thing.
That's true.
And you could have a whole bunch of Kiwis and they could look so unimpressed, and then right at the end they'll come, I loved your set. And you're like,
true.
Why didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
Because you just showed nothing. You just I can't see your eyebrows. You know? So I can imagine it must be similar to that. They're not letting you in, but they love it, and they probably come at the end.
Yeah, well, at the end of every song, they clap for like 5 minutes, and I'm just standing there awkwardly on stage like, are you going to stop now? Because like...
They had a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
It felt like, it was just crazy. There'd be just dead silence and then like thunderous applause every time I did anything at the end. But it was just nothing during the song.
Wow.
Which is cool, because...
It's sort of like they let you be creative and be without that pressure.
Yeah.
And then I guess you'd have to do that because I love Rammstein. Straight up German, right? Russian or something like this anyway. But you must have to have that sort of crowd to let you be Rammstein, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you can't just do that.
No.
Like in Australia, you couldn't be here with flames coming out your head. They'd go, what's going on here, you know? Yeah. So I guess that's a good thing, giving you sort of that creative freedom. Is that, I guess, yeah. Yeah, cool. And then so that's Germany. Yeah. And what about the rest? Let's go through it.
Oh, London's pretty cool. London's pretty much, I felt like it was like Australia, just cold. They're kind of like same sort of vibe, I think. I found it when I went to London, I found it really like welcoming in the industry and open and chilled. And I found it easy to get really cool gigs and just, it was fun. And
were you doing originals or covers?
Just originals.
Just originals. Yeah. Okay. And how were they warm to originals?
Yeah.
Over there? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And you found a lot of different, was it, just sort of throwing it out there, in Australia, of course, some venues fully support originals, some fully don't.
Yeah.
Did you find there was a lot of diverse venues offering more original slots, and it was like a weird thing to go, what do you mean you sing covers? Was it?
Yeah, I think so, because like I think because there's more people and there's a lot of, I think the culture's possibly, like, Melbourne's like creative Australia thing. It's like that's what London feels like.
Yeah, but like, as a whole entire.
Yeah.
Instead of just one city.
Yeah.
You can go to different parts and it's the same sort of culture of the music.
Yeah. And you can kind of just, like, there's venues for everything and you can just do what you want. No one really cares. It's just like music.
Yeah. And how about those Asian countries? Because you've done a few countries in Asia, yeah?
Yeah, a couple.
What was that like?
Oh, they're just super chilled. I just like anything, it feels like.
Yeah.
So, and I think because the culture over there is very, like, music's a big part of their culture in different ways. And so when somebody from a Western country goes over there, it's very well received, I think.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, thank you for coming. And I'm like, oh, I'm just here chilling at the beach. Like, it's really, I should thank you for allowing me. I feel like they're just very welcoming and very friendly and very like, what can I get you? What do you need? What's it like? Very, open arms sort of thing.
No,
and
I
think it's kind of like, I've experienced that not just playing music, just traveling to those countries too. A lot of people are just over the top welcoming and friendly and giving and all that sort of thing. Which is
for sure.
It's part of the culture.
Yeah, of course. And so when you went to New Zealand, you gigged a lot, a couple gigs, or did you do no gigs?
I did the North Island. I didn't get to do any gigs on the South Island yet, but we're thinking about that for next year.
Yeah.
Because I love New Zealand. And it's a
nice spot.
It's a beautiful part of the world. And I lived in the Bay of Islands for a bit.
Nice.
And so I played around there, and I lived in Queenstown as well for a while, but that was when I was doing the horse stuff, so I was busy doing horsey things.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. New Zealand's such a high caliber of musicianship, you know.
Yeah.
I'm scared to go back to New Zealand and sing.
Really?
I'll just blend in. You know, I'm a Kiwi. Sing another Kiwi. Here's another Kiwi. You can sing.
True.
But I don't know. I don't know if it was like that. I don't even think I've ever played in New Zealand.
Oh.
So I always wondered, like, you know, it's just a high caliber of music. They're really good musicians. They know good music.
Yeah.
There's a lot of music that comes out of New Zealand they're on the international stage, you know, like Lord and LAB 660, Tikitani.
Yep.
You're like, wow, this little island's got such crazy talents, you know. So and then so you've done New Zealand, and you come back to Australia, and then what happened when you got back into the country? Were you like?
Oh yeah. Well, I was only in Australia for 6 weeks, and then we had our first lockdown here.
Oh, so you're 6 weeks.
I had gigs booked, and up until like that was so I got back in February, and then it was like March. No, wait. Yeah, it was March, because I met Courtney on the 13th of March was our first date, and then we had like a week, and then we were in lockdown. So we locked down together, and now we're married. So, you know, that went well. But I had like all these gigs locked in for that year, and then obviously they all just, nothing happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a bit of a shock. I was kind of like, what do I do with my life? Because if I wasn't overseas backpacking and training horses and playing guitar, I just like that was the things that gave me purpose. That's what I've wanted to do my whole life. So then to have that suddenly be like, no, you can't do that anymore. It's really weird.
Yeah.
I had a
for sure.
small existential crisis possibly, but
we all did.
Yeah.
I'm guaranteed you weren't alone. I had a call from a friend, and when COVID happened, and he's like, hey man, do you need some work? And I'm like, yeah, well, I do, because I just lost a huge amount. Anyway, I had to go removals, and I was being a removalist, and I'm like, I am not a removalist, you know. And then we got a food trailer, and I love cooking. I love having. I was really lucky that the food trailer was at a live music venue, Moe's. So I was doing all their food for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But I know exactly every time someone's like, I love the burgers you make. And I'm like, what about my music? What about my music?
Shut up about the burgers. No one cares about the burgers, mate.
Yeah. I'm not here for the burgers.
Yeah.
I'm here for, this is just temporary, you know? So I know what you mean. Yeah, it's definitely, I think that's the thing about being a musician. It's definitely a calling. It's definitely something that that's what you're here to do on earth.
Yeah, it's like you can't let go of it, even though sometimes it sucks. It's like, well,
you get highly depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. No purpose.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I fully 100% get you on that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
'Cause, sometimes I just feel like I'm a bit crazy sometimes, because sometimes I'm like, why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah.
Because it's not easy.
No. So that's the thing, right? So you got music, the thing that we all love,
Yeah.
the passion, the purpose, is generally hindered by the reality of we live in a world that it costs money, that has bills, that has, you know, hyenas in the industry, heaps of hyenas and heaps of people ready to take from you.
Yep.
So that's usually what stops a lot of great musicians being great musicians. And usually why a lot of big bands that we love fall apart is because it's no longer about the music anymore.
Yeah.
It's about, oh, I wrote that riff and that riff's why is that song's famous. So now I want 80% of that song, you know, and it's like, why get into the schematics of the music industry? Anyway, so that's where I wanted to get into. I wanted to go down that road of, you know, where the line is between passion and what you have to do to be able to express your passion.
Yeah, it's a lot that you
It's a
have to
lot.
do.
Yeah.
And I think most of it is like these days, the amount of time I have to sit on my phone on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and answering emails to people and fans and stuff is a lot. And in one sense, I'm very grateful because without fans around the world, I don't have a career. But there's like that in itself takes up a huge chunk of time. And then you got to deal with all the actual industry stuff. And that, because I think the industry stuff I've always struggled with because I'm not a very like, this is what I want, this is how I want it, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm not like that at all.
Yeah.
And I think also because I'm a woman, there's been a lot of times, like I've got nothing against men at all, but I just don't get
For
taken
sure.
seriously.
Yeah.
And it is a very male-dominated space, as a lot of, I think most things probably are.
For sure. They are.
but-
That's 100% true.
But so that's a thing. And yeah, it's the art kind of becomes like a secondary thing to dealing with all of this business crap that I hate it, really,
Yeah.
but you have to.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult because it's kind of like navigating people, and it's kind of, if you have nice people around you, it becomes a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because I really think that music should be like this big collaborative, fun, amazing thing that whatever role you might play in the music industry, if we're all working together, it would be amazing, but that doesn't always happen.
It's big egos.
So,
That's the
yeah.
other thing. Like the industry is a full yin yang. You know, there's the light side and the dark side, and that's what we're here for, to talk about it, because it's like maybe we need to start calling these things out and start going, let's make it more inclusive, more safer, more inspiring industry, because I feel like it's not the whole industry. It's just a
No.
few people in it that are ruining it for all of us. It's a risky industry. I've put on events that have cost me a lot of money, and that's the risk that I took. And I think that there needs to be a level of awareness around there is a hard thing to the industry. It's tough to get people to come out,
Oh, yeah.
and it's tough that a lot of places for you to play, it needs to be reciprocated financially. So you need to sell alcohol.
Yep.
Well, what if your following's non-alcoholic? So then where do you play?
True.
Who's going to pay you money to play somewhere that's not alcoholic? I know there's changes and stuff like that, but I think this is the beginning of the conversation that I wanted to have about anyway is, you know, what's some of the things that we can do? Like you said, it's a male dominated industry. Like, so as a female artist who's traveled around the world, do you think it's Australia industry that makes you feel this way, or is it like, do you find it all around the world? It's always been the sort of same thing?
I think it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, I think it's slowly changing because more conversations are being had and there are more spaces that are popping up that are specifically, and more like, what's the word for it? Like organizations specifically to help women. But even like, I've been into studios and I know what I want my song to sound like. It's in my head. I can hear it all. But then I go into a studio and the guy who's the sound engineer is like, I think it should be this way. And trust me, just trust me. Just trust me. And I'm like, dude, I'm paying you. Like, and it's my song. Why am I getting told to sit down and shut up?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And but because I was,
sure.
it's just, I mean, in those times it was kind of just me on my own and with this like dude or a couple of dudes in the studio, and I'm like, oh, all right, fine.
Yeah.
And it just ends up becoming this thing that I don't really want. And then, but yeah, maybe that's on me. Maybe I just need to like toughen up.
But I don't think so. Like, so that's the thing as well, is that there's a natural organic energy within the masculine and the feminine, right? Mm-hmm. Why should you have to become masculine in order for you to express the feminine?
Yeah.
It seems that you're going to...
That's a good point. I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's, why should you? It's that places are meant to, my opinion, adapt according to your needs. Like, if your needs are, I'm going to write the song, they should adapt to you, not the other way around. You shouldn't have to change for them. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like that's been the problem. Now we're off the music industry. We're into that feminine, masculine realm. But it's also the big problem that's happening also across all industries, you know, is more and more people are sacrificing who they are to fit into a world that's, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. And so did you find that it was a struggle to find producers that were
still looking.
female?
Still looking.
Yeah.
But I've learned to do a lot of things myself now, which is good, and that helps. But I would love to have someone who has other ideas that can, like, you know, bring those to the table and have me also feel heard. That's all I really want. I just want to feel heard.
Yeah.
And just be able to feel comfortable to create something cool.
Yeah.
And, you know, that'd be great.
Do you know MJ?
MJ. What's her last name?
Dan.
I know it's MJ.
Yeah, I know it's MJ as well.
Was she at the Gold Coast Music Awards?
She was.
Yeah.
She'll be here this Sunday.
She'll be here this Sunday.
Oh, yes, I know MJ.
We
just met her.
You did? Yeah.
Yeah.
So she does heaps in the music scene. She's completely on that conversation about creating more spaces for females. And I think it'll be great for you to link up with her more because she's really good to work with. Yeah.
We met her like 2 weeks ago now for the first time. And on Sunday, she invited us out to this, like, what's it called? It was, Brisbane Festival had a boat on the Brisbane River that was like cabaret and drag queens and all the rest of it. So we went to that with her. It was actually really
cool.
fun.
So you're connecting with her anyway. So that's good. Yeah, because I think she used to be like a voice coach for The Voice for a while. Yeah. She's got a pretty impressive background, but she's on the same mission. She's trying to create more spaces that is about you being able to be you. Yeah. Instead of about you having to fit into a box. Yeah. Which the industry's... That's what I'm all about. I'm all about these talks. I'm glad we get to talk on this because these are all of the things. You know, I don't think there's one problem with the music industry. I think it's just a series of issues. And they're not maybe just problems. Maybe they're things that just need to get better. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. You know, instead of just being like, I don't want to be like that guy that's like, this is the problem, this is the problem, this needs to change. Yeah. That's not what it's about. It's about, okay, what's some of the holdbacks that we can create a better industry, you know? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that sort of vibe. Yeah. Cool. So, and what else have you found over the last few years? Like, has that been a big thing on you? Like Do you think that's the big topic? I'd say it's the most regular annoyance. Yeah. Because even like going to play live at shows, we were talking about sound guys earlier. I think everyone gets annoyed at sound guys sometimes. Sound guys are difficult. Oh, yeah. If you have a good one, it's like, can you just like move in and just never leave my life forever? Because when we interviewed Tiki Tani, he's got a sound guy. His name's Guy. Yeah. And nice. They've traveled. They've been together as they call them, I think, tour hubbies. Yeah. Because they just always tour together. But for like 13 years or something, 12, maybe even longer. No, I think it was 30 years. 30
Wow.
years. So he's been a sound guy for 30 years.
Wow.
And that shows you when you find that person.
Yeah.
And he was so good to work with. Like, I got to work with guys awesome as, just real gentle. I think it's as they get more pro, they get better.
Yeah, they chill out a bit more.
Yeah, because
and listen and are accepting of something different.
yeah.
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 It's always the guys who know what they're doing and they're just way more chilled. But the guys that like just trying to figure stuff out, they're just hard.
What's some advice you got for the soundies out there in the world? And I want you to think about the advice from you as a performer, not just like actual that makes you play the best.
Yeah.
That even mentally, psychologically, physically, you know, what's something that maybe go on the opposite end. What's something that annoys the crap out of you?
Well, there was one time when I was in London and this one particular sound guy, so I've got 3 outputs from one guitar, which is
3.
Yeah.
So you must do.
Yeah. So one's a stomp.
Yeah.
Instead of using my foot, I've got it in the palm of my hand.
Yeah.
So I've got, that's a bug in there. And then I've got a humbucker
Yeah.
and just a normal acoustic.
Yeah.
And they're all going all at one time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
pretty
it's
cool.
all in the one. Is that a custom guitar?
Yeah. So it's a Cole Clark. And I bought it when they first put the humbuckers mounted into the body, which is cool because I was going to just put one on, like, you know, how John Butler does. I was just going to do that. But then I saw Cole Clark's and I'm like, well, that looks pretty. So I'm going to buy that because it's pretty. And then I added in my own stomp later to be able to do my thing that I do. And it's actually not that complicated at all. It's literally exactly the same setup as if I was to play
The 3.
Yeah, just like have a stomp on the ground, and then I've got an acoustic guitar and an electric, and I just switch between the 2 guitars.
Yeah.
Really, that's all the setup is. But I get on stage and every time, like, well, this one guy was like, well, why would you do that? Like, that's just stupid. Like, just play a stomp like everybody else. You don't need to do that. Like, that's just a waste
Full
of
on
time.
like mansplaining
like,
sort of vibe.
yeah, like, are you serious? It's like, just because you can't, man. Like, shut up. Just go and do your job. I got very pissed off. But because I have to be this, like, nice, pretty, unopinionated artist who just stands on stage and does her job, I can't say anything, I feel like. And especially because, I mean, right before you're about to play, you don't want the sound guy to be like making yourself
start sabotaging you.
Yeah.
Dropping out your low end or your high end. You're like, what the hell? Am I sounding so crap?
Yeah.
And they are the most important other part of the music industry.
Uh-huh.
If they get it wrong, the amount of gigs that I just get off the stage and I've got the biggest evil eyes at that sound guy, and I'm like going, what have you done?
Yeah.
One gig I played, it was my first gig, our first gig as a band out of COVID.
Yeah.
It was at the Cavill in Surfers.
Uh-huh.
And something happened. It rained. Of course it's going to rain at our first gig out of COVID. Anyway, and all the foldbacks died.
Oh.
And I'm sitting there, can't hear myself.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the sound guy, and guess where he was? Just have a wild guess what he was doing.
Just having a drink or something?
No, even worse. He is there watching Netflix with his back to us. I'm yelling at him, where are you? Oi, this is dead. And he couldn't hear me.
Wow.
Because it's so, and he was like that, I realized, for the rest of the whole set. And he didn't turn once.
Holy shit.
And I was like, I pulled him up.
Yeah.
I said to him, look, man, you might do this all day long, but I only gig every few months, my first gig out, and you're sort of treating me like another job when I'm not. This is my first gig. This is your 100th maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
People need perspective.
Yeah, but also if it's his 100th thing, he should, like, be professional.
That's what I think.
Do your job.
Well. Yeah, that's my problem is I always forgive people for their mistakes.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're right. So anyway, just to see, I understand exactly what you mean. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. And what happened? So what happened after that?
Oh, well, then it was another issue of like, oh, my guitar sounds shit and he doesn't know how to EQ everything to make my voice come through. And I'm like, what? Like, because I know sound too. Like I've done also live sound since I was in high school, and like from a mixing master, like recording perspective, I know how to do stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not just, it's it's not that hard.
No.
Like he just ended up being a dick, and other people had to go over and talk to him and tell him to pull his head in. So it was kind of awkward because then I was just standing on stage like, oh God.
And then it's even worse because then you're the one who's the diva.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It all comes back.
Yeah.
Oh, this diva.
Yep.
And probably went home to his friends.
Yep.
Oh, I had this girl today. Ah.
Yep.
I guarantee. I'm sorry. That's the industry. That's not even the industry. That's the world we live in.
Uh-huh.
It's like, and especially as a muso, yeah, it seems to be that they like the musos who are just smiling and okay.
Yeah, just do as you're told.
Do as you're told.
Uh-huh.
As soon as you have a voice,
Yeah.
such a diva.
I know. And I think that's part of the, like, I've got a lot of friends who are women in the industry who, if the exact same situation, if they say anything, you're a diva.
Yeah.
100%, like, straight away.
Yeah.
You're too hard. Just, it's another one of these chicks. But, like, why is that? Why can we not, with our art?
Have a standard.
Yeah.
That's your standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one big annoyance.
Do you know Ali and Bryony? Salt and Steel?
Yeah, they're great.
And Andrea? Do you know Andrea Kerwin?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
we saw her last month.
Yeah, and she's a promoter as well. She puts on gigs. She has a label as well. I think Peace Run Records.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of women stepping into those voids in the industry. I can't speak for the whole country. Maybe as we start getting more national artists coming through this conversation, we can see what's going on and zoom out.
Yeah.
But right around this area, I think there's more and more people that are stepping into those roles. Andrea, MJ, and all that sort of stuff. But it's so in the conversation you guys are having, this is a reoccurring problem that's happening more than it's not.
Yeah.
You walk in and you're already got your guard up before you even start going, what's going to happen? What am I going to walk into?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't feel that because I'm a male. I don't see these things because I just am myself. So I can't understand it, but it's good to know that this is something that needs to be tackled as well. It's something needs to be more, is it to do with like creating more safe? I've heard this a lot lately, safe places for everyone.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it should be a thing of like there are safe places. I think it should just like the culture needs to change.
Yeah.
Because why is it that whenever I have an opinion, I'm straight away a diva? Why is that why is that the mindset?
Yeah.
That everyone automatically just flicks to? Because I'm not a diva. Like I'm the most chiller ever. Like I live in a bus. Don't even wear shoes most of the time. Like I do wash my hair though, although I get a lot of comments from middle-aged white men online telling me how I'm like whatever they think of me.
Yeah.
Which is another thing too. That's a big thing. Men online are nasty.
Yeah.
Like very nasty. And that's a daily occurrence. But
well, the other hard thing, I don't know if you've seen, there's they're like bots. Have you seen this?
and I don't know.
Apparently there's these, I don't know how true this is. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Yes, I am.
Should talk to Courtney.
Not too crazy. But anyway, I've actually seen this, not with my own eyes, but I've seen this on videos. Oh, I'm really sounding bad for myself here. Anyway, that there's these bots, they're argue bots. And they actually they just go out and argue with people. And they're like AI. And they'll just create these arguments on people's pages. And you're actually not even arguing with anyone. And they just do this. Like you can see like when someone... say a First Nations artist does something crazy good.
Yeah.
There's so much racism on that.
Yeah.
And I'm like going, this can't be real. Some of that racism is so bad. But anyway, I don't know. I don't want to open the hood too much on that, but it's that, well, on if this is true or not. But I do wonder sometimes because some of the comments that come out, I go, how is it any human mind coming up with this? It feels like you want me to get angry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
Like, does Facebook need... Do they have, like, an argument quota? Like, there's not enough arguments in the world. Quick, put some AI on there.
Yeah.
Say
Make
some
people
random
grumpy.
Yeah, make people grumpy. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Anyway, I also don't want to take that away that there's probably a lot of real people that actually do this to you. I don't want to water down that for you to feel this is happening. I don't want to. It probably is happening as well. 100% is happening. So
Yeah.
but I do wonder that anyway.
Interesting. It would make me feel better about the world, to be honest, if they were just bots, because like I've had one guy tell me to run my car into a tree and like to all sorts of stuff,
Yeah.
to getting sent videos of men taking their pants off and being like, are you sure you want to be gay? Really?
Oh wow. That's-
Like, for fuck's sake. Am I allowed to swear? Sorry.
you swear.
Okay, good, because I've been holding it in.
You swear as much as we need to swear.
Okay,
It's
cool.
probably because I said before that I said some swear word. Crap. Holy crap.
That's
I
very-
mustn't be allowed to swear. They're crap.
yeah, that's a good one when there's kids around.
Yeah, no, this is it's the industry. Music industry, it's why make it non-swearing? We all swear.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not for kids.
No.
But maybe we'll have one for kids because there's a lot of young youth coming through. So,
Yeah, true.
but that'll be different than this.
Yes.
It's okay. So swear. You
Okay,
have
cool.
complete permission to swear. Not that you need my permission.
Do what I want.
I'm trying to find the balance here between, I want you to feel safe in this conversation. I want you to feel that you can be you.
Oh, thank you. I do feel pretty chilled.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
That's good. No worries. But yeah, so what were we talking about? Some
Dickheads online.
dickheads online. So this
Yeah.
is another thing
Yeah.
that comes up a lot.
Yes. It's literally a daily thing. And I think too, I have other women who are friends who get this as well. Not all women get it as much, but it's kind of in a way it shows me when my videos are starting to go a little bit more viral, because as soon as I get men telling me either like I suck, like just you're not pretty enough, you obviously smell because you got dreadlocks and haven't showered in 10 years, obviously, even though my wife's OCD and that's disgusting. I
Yeah.
obviously never shower.
I've had
And
dreads.
yeah.
And they are the most high maintenance things that you can have. I got them for low maintenance.
Yeah.
Regretted it. I was like, this is not the low maintenance option.
No, it's
this
disgusting
is you, and,
if
and
you
you
don't
can't.
take care of
It's
it.
right here on your head. It's right next to your nose, as
Yep.
if you're going to like let that. Nah.
Yeah.
It's actually. You need to be very, very onto it. You need to be drying with the right, like straight away after jumping out of the ocean. You need to be doing the deep cleaning every month or whatever
Yep.
it is, 4 to 6 weeks, and using all of those essential oils. And
Yep.
I've done deep cleaning, and you're meant to do it until the water clears up.
Yeah.
And sometimes like 10 times, I'm like, man, this is a 6 hour.
Whoa. Okay.
Well, I had huge dreads.
Like really thick ones.
Yeah, really thick.
Oh yeah. Okay. I don't-
Really, and my
yeah.
ones were like, even one. I had one that was like this big,
Holy
big,
shit.
huge nugget. But anyway, I understand it's definitely not unhygienic. It takes a few days or a few weeks. You've got to keep on top of it.
Yeah.
It can get unhygienic.
Yes,
but
but that's gross.
That's
Like, why would you want that on your head?
That's right. That's right.
But yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah. So once you start getting all these people starting to push you back, then you're like, I'm on it. You're getting some traction. You
Yeah.
must be doing something right.
Yeah. But it's mostly like, I get a lot of Christian men telling me I'm an abomination to God, and I get a lot of like, just, all sorts of things really. But yeah, but it's kind of also a sign that my videos are just getting pushed out somehow through the algorithms to new people, which is
Yeah.
fine. And I'm like, oh, thank you, Facebook, for working for me for a change. For
Yeah.
5 minutes. But yeah, it's just men, but it's kind of, it's, I think it's actually just bullying,
Bullying.
really,
Yeah, 'cause
online.
It's easy
And-
to bully when you're on a computer.
Yeah. And
Sure.
I think as a musician these days, you have to have very thick skin. It used to get to me when it first started, but now I'm like, oh, that's funny. Or it kind of just gets a bit old, like come up with something original. Like, come on.
So this is another thing that I wanted to ask you about is what tools do you have now? Now you've dealt with it. What are some of the tools you've given yourself, like not take it personal, stuff like that?
Yeah, well, so I've got this wife who now comments a lot as me, which is great because also I read this thing a while ago now that was talking about how, because as a creative person, we all are so out there in the public platform in such a huge way. We get that much criticism and critique, whether it's good or bad, thrown back at us every single day that our brains a few years ago wouldn't have had to deal with. So even just being like, I don't actually like being told 50,000 times a day how amazing I am.
Yeah.
I don't need that. It's a bit much.
It's funny because
it freaks me out.
I connect with what you're saying because people just say it as a reflex.
Yeah.
And you know they're not
lovely.
really saying it. Like, it's like when you get a haircut and you don't like it. And they're like, you like the haircut? Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Yeah.
Or they make coffee. Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's like we're too nice to be. Some people say it out of sympathy.
Yeah.
They come up and they're like, I thought you were really great. I know no one was clapping, but
Yeah.
it's not that sincere, but that's okay. I'll take it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. But even if people do like what you're doing, I think a lot, like, it's lovely to tell someone that you're doing great, and it's really encouraging to hear that too. But also, I don't think I need to. I don't really, because really, like, I'm not making music for other people. I'm making music for me.
Yeah.
And I'm making music because it makes me feel happy. And the plus side of that is apparently it makes other people happy too. And that's awesome. Like, I really hope that I continue to create music that makes other people's worlds brighter. But I actually don't give a shit what people think because I'm just going to make music anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't need to be told what you think of it because really at the end of the day, it's lovely if you like it, but I don't need to have this constant, like, you are this, you are this, you are this, you are this, whether it's good or bad.
External validation.
Yeah, I don't need that. It's just like clutter in my brain that's just unnecessary and gets in the way of
You spend
creating.
the rest of your career chasing that.
Yeah.
And I've thought about this a lot, about what you're talking about. Have you heard the saying, the cart before the horse? Have you heard the saying?
Probably vaguely.
You love
but-
horses, so
Yes.
it makes sense. Cart before the horse is a really big... I live by that saying, and it's something I have to understand myself if I'm putting the cart before the horse. So obviously, you know, the horse is what's pulling
Yeah.
the cart. Some people put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm getting to a point. The thing is, the industry, you can see the ones who really succeeded, they were authentic. They let them be the reason for people to come. Now it seems people are spending their whole career trying to prove to people.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? The cart before the horse.
Yeah.
So, like, I watched this interview with with Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Queen. But anyway, Freddie Mercury. And he said, one thing that he said famously in this interview, and I'll try and find it, is he said, I create for me. You're coming to watch my show. I'm not going to be the dance monkey.
Yeah.
Do you know where I'm going with this? Like, it's...
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's what's wrong with the industry is we're now creating music for the industry instead of people
Oh, yeah.
coming to for your own authentic uniqueness.
Yeah. And look at Triple J. Like, I'm sorry, but they kind of all sound the same now.
There's a Triple J sound.
Yeah.
And it's reverb, delays,
Yeah.
heaps of reverb.
Shitloads of it. Like,
Yeah.
you can't understand what they're saying.
No, exactly. And there's a Triple J sound, you know,
Yeah.
and that's for a big chunk of years. There was everyone trying to make that Triple J sound, you know.
When they're supposed to be, like, supporting all the indie guys. But they're not really.
They've just created their own genre of indie. That's
Yeah.
the Triple J indie. And it's like, it's not even indie.
Yeah.
You've defined what that indie should sound like.
Yeah.
It's not. Indie's much bigger than that.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so my point is that, yeah, it's cool that you brought that conversation up about being authentic to yourself and you writing, you're bringing people on your journey, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Where you're going on the fans' journey of
Yeah.
trying to write for them.
Yeah.
So they love you more.
Yeah.
Do you love me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll write another one.
Yeah.
Do you love that one? And it seems like a perpetual. You're not going to go anywhere, you know.
Yeah.
So that's. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, it would be way too much work to try and guess where the industry is going to, because like there's all these trends in what's cool in the industry too, I think. And to try to keep up with that would just be freaking exhausting. Like,
And by the way, when I say cart before the horse, is that you are the horse. You're the person driving that. The fans are the carts.
yeah.
So when you put it the wrong way around and you put the cart forward thinking the cart's bringing you, the cart's got there's nothing the cart can do. The horse is the reason. If you go to Pearl Jam, it's Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
If you take Pearl Jam away, what's that stadium of people doing?
Exactly.
Nothing. There's no purpose for them. So that's what I mean. The horse, you need to remain the horse. You need to remain the person in your mind. I'm bringing you on this journey. This is about what I've got to share with you.
Yeah.
Not, hey guys, can I come and play for you? It's, you know what I mean? And I know there's there's humility in it, that you have to be humble and all that sort of stuff. But just more like a cool thing.
But you can be humble and just be yourself.
Yeah. Humble's another overused word, but
Yeah.
I'm using it. But
a good word still.
yeah. But yeah, so cool. That's I'm stoked about that.
But I think also one thing that I have realized lately, and Courtney and I, because Courtney's obviously me on social media, is that people actually relate to just a real human just being themselves, I think.
Yeah.
And I think the industry's opinion of what I should be doing and what people consuming music, what their opinion is of what I should be doing, are probably two different things, is what it feels like sometimes.
Yeah.
Because the people who are telling me to be something that I'm not are generally not just the people listening to music.
Yeah.
They don't care. They just want to hear music. But then there's also the industry, and they're like, well, this is what's cool. This is what people are doing now. So why don't you just be a bit more like this?
Yeah.
But I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do my thing. So
Yeah, but that's good as well. Like that's a good thing. These are all good things. So these are the tools that you need as a musician to survive in the music industry. You need certain tools. You need to be 15 years into your career and you can look in the mirror and you can say, I'm still me.
yeah.
I didn't sacrifice part of my beliefs and morals and things that matter to me
Yeah.
to where I look in the mirror and go, who is that?
Yeah.
I don't know who you are anymore. So these are the tools that I want to talk about, because it's like you've got all of the world. You can blame the world for everything,
Yeah.
but truth is, it's just all about the tools that you have as your own individual musician, your own individual career, your own individual artist, to sustain and survive the industry.
Survive the industry.
I say that because, there's a 23 club for a reason. There's people that commit suicide, and it's a big topic in the industry as well. People lose their souls. There's the selling your soul to the devil conversation.
Yeah.
That's pretty real as well. Like, the devil can be like lust and temptation and all that sort of stuff. People can sell their soul for these physical things, but definitely surviving it, because who are you if you sell yourself
Yeah.
that much?
That's true.
And I think that's where people lose themselves.
Yeah.
And start forgetting what got you in here, what got you into the music scene, what made you love it.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Do you feel it?
Yes, definitely. And the culture around the industry is, I think, the thing that it's, I don't know if it's because the industry is now run by just a lot of rich businessmen or what is
Of course
actually.
it is. 100%.
But how do you change that?
This
That's
can
hard.
be a cog.
Yeah.
It's, I think, about that's why this conversation is so important. It's because it's about letting people know that their time is coming to an end. There's a
snap.
voice.
Yeah.
I feel it. What my motivation is, I have kids. I have 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl.
Yeah.
I want them to feel safe in the industry if they decide to be musicians.
Yeah.
I don't care if they don't, but if they do, I know that the industry is a bit more of a better place.
Yeah.
So, you turn the light on, the cockroach is scurrying, and
True.
maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe this is one part of it.
Yeah.
Someone else over here, all these people coming together. But if we can start the conversation up and letting everyone know this has got to change.
Yeah.
There's people with voices, and we are going to talk about these things, and we're going to let the world know things need to change.
Yeah.
Right? So who knows? I don't know the answer, but I know it starts off with the conversation. Like most big changes, it's all about the conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Little moves.
Little moves, little movements, And so obviously we've gotten into some good topics. I can see Dan over there going, I don't know, he's counting the time. We've got this, we try and create a uniform time slot, but when conversations get good, I'm always like, come on, Dan, let's let this get into its place, because it feels unnatural, you know?
Yeah.
And so over those years, let's talk about some of the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So creatively,
Yep.
what are your I know you said like the Red Hot Chili Peppers and that stuff were great influences. What are your influences regarding writing?
Oh, well, that's a very good question. I
want to ask another question.
Yeah.
What is your process of writing a song?
Oh God.
Do you write first? Are you a poet first and then a musician, or are you do you pull the guitar out and play and see what it feels at the time, or?
I think it changes every time.
Yeah.
Because so when COVID happened, by the way, backstory a little bit. Courtney is a genius, and she came up with the idea that breweries are pretty much the only people who are still raking in a lot of money right now because everyone's sitting at home drinking.
Yeah.
So we started cleaning breweries and doing pressure blasting and manual labor. And that's what we still are doing a little bit of, because that's been our bread and butter since COVID happened and the music industry
Nice.
shat itself.
Shut itself.
Yeah. So
they did.
yesterday, I was at that brewery job, the one we have left, the only brewery we work at now. And I was pressure blasting and writing lyrics in my head. And because, you know, you're just pressure blasting all day, it's bloody boring, but it's just another thing. I have to, when I'm doing things
like white
with my
noise.
hand. Yeah,
Like,
I think.
yeah.
So, which I think a lot of people do. So I just write lyrics, and then I can hear in my head the song as the lyrics progress. I create what the song is, and then I just go home to my guitar and I'm like, oh, there you go. But then sometimes I start with a guitar riff and then I build a song from there, and then sometimes it's just a beat and then I just add everything else. It changes every time.
Yeah.
I don't really have a process.
A one set yeah. No, I feel you. I get you on that. And what about gigs? Do you have any rituals that you do to get into the headspace for gigs? Do you do any? I like to go up to nature the day off the gig, the morning.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
Get me in the headspace. I have some medicine.
Yep.
I can say it now, marijuana. That's my thing. I go up in the morning, sunrise usually, and I'll do that, get some nature, and then I'll do a sauna session, and then I come in and I'm like feeling good, you know?
That sounds lovely.
Yeah. It is.
Normally we're just running late and like, shit, where are we going? We should do some of that.
Yeah.
I'm like, honey, we should take on this version.
That's my thing. That makes me come fresh and renewed, and you know, sometimes I don't get it, but that's usually only the bigger shows. If I'm just general gigging, I don't really care. But if I've got like a festival or something that I know that I've got to bring my A game, that's my thing.
Yeah.
But so you're just more like getting there 2 minutes late.
Yeah. I guess for me the big things is I try and not be sleep deprived because it affects your voice a lot. But also so every day I do half an hour of guitar scales.
Nice.
And before I go on stage, I never drink at all before I go on stage. And I mean, I barely drink anyway, but I definitely will not have any alcohol before I go on stage because it slows my fingers down.
Yeah.
And I can feel it. And I hate that feeling of being on stage in front of a crap load of people and not being on your A game.
Yeah, not being in control.
Yeah. So I just...
Because alcohol does make you feel like in your head you're a rock star, but you listen to the recording the next day, you're like, what was I doing?
Yeah.
I was drunk playing.
Which is not a good thing. So I...
Cool. So no drinking before getting on stage. Eating? Do you eat after? I get heartburn, but that's because I got a...
Oh, true.
Yeah.
That would
and
suck.
big kiwi.
Yeah. Food is good, I guess, if I have time, but we tend to be that busy that we just forget to eat food. My tummy's actually grumbling at the moment. If it goes into the microphone, it's because I forgot. Well, I didn't forget breakfast, but we've just had a busy morning.
Yeah.
So, and that tends to be the way. We'll get food after this. We'll probably have a Guinness. And that'll be lunch.
Yeah, Guinness, and oh no, I'm sure Dan's gonna hook up some good cheese. Oh, are you a vegetarian or?
I am a veggie. I do eat a little bit of cheese, but we're both also slightly lactose intolerant. But it's fine. We'll save the fighting for afterwards.
Yeah. Not pre-interview.
Yeah.
That can be, when you're off in the
Yeah.
van together.
Woohoo. Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
cool.
So I guess I think the main thing is as long as I feel like I'm connected to my guitar's my safe space.
Yeah.
Because when I'm on stage, it's just me and a guitar. So as long as I feel like my fingers are working fine, I feel alive, and I feel like because I normally can think something and it just comes out.
Yeah.
And as long as I feel connected to my guitar in that way, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
For sure. Yeah. And after the gigs, do you have any like wind down?
Run away and hide.
Yeah.
But not really. I guess once it's over, I'm just like, well, that was interesting. That was
Yeah.
cool. And then I don't know. Do I wind down or do I just go do the next thing? Might have a rum of some sort.
Something like that. Yeah.
Just chill.
It's good. It's interesting to know because the reason why I bring these things up is because it's good to know some of the mechanisms behind bringing your A game, and that's for me like it's a whole thing from before you even come to the gig, get into the
Yeah.
headspace,
Yeah.
and then after the gig, wind down.
Yeah, true.
Some people like partying after the gig. I'm not a big fan of that. I like to wind down, just chill out in my own time.
Yeah, because normally I'm exhausted. When I get off stage, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Really
yeah, because you've
tired.
put your heart and soul into something.
Yeah.
People don't understand that about music. It's invisible, but it is so draining,
Yeah.
It's-
And, like the last thing I want to do is party normally.
Nah, it's exhausting. Like you come, my mind's active, but my body's like dead.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, that was my mouth farting, by the way. I know we just talked about farting, but that was my mouth.
Sure I was.
And yeah, so it's good to get these different aspects on what prepares you and musicians, because just for people listening that might want to get into the music, that they understand like there's rituals to this, there's
Yeah.
things that you have to do.
Yeah. I think mine is mostly just in my head.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, because I don't tend to have a physical thing that I do every time other than just making sure I do some scales and
Your strings are
Stuff.
nice and
yeah.
cleaned or new, or
Yep.
how often do you change your strings?
Not as often as I should. And
But-
actually, today I realized on the way here, I've changed 2 of my strings on my guitar, but not the other 4. So,
So it's 2 shiny strings.
yeah.
And we got to capture that.
Yeah.
Like those, play a little guessing game.
Yeah.
Which strings are the new ones?
Oh, you can tell because I haven't even chopped the ends off. They're still wound up on
Nice, classic.
Yeah.
I like strings that are a bit more seasoned.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Some people like change them after every gig.
Yeah.
And they were telling me, you got to do this. It's funny, some people, they tell you that's like the law.
Oh, yeah.
You have to do this every time.
Yeah.
And I believed that so many years. And I'm
That
like,
gets expensive after a while.
I don't have to do this.
No.
And it doesn't sound nice too much. Like the tone gets better after a few gigs.
Yeah.
Then it gets to a point where you're like, oh, I'm loving the sound of the guitar. And you just leave it like that. I mean, I don't know. I change it every 3 months.
Yeah. I'd probably be like that. I mean, it's yeah. If I'm gigging a lot, it's probably more like every 6 weeks.
6 weeks, yeah.
6 weeks.
Or when
but-
it snaps.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's
That's
hard.
why I changed 2 strings because I had 1 string snap the other day, which doesn't happen very often.
No.
But I snapped a string.
Being a coastal country, there's a lot of salt water in the air.
Uh-huh.
Things just happen. Things get rusty and that sort of stuff.
Mm.
But come on, you don't need to change it every gig.
No. That's crazy.
Or you're not gigging enough.
Yeah.
If you change it every gig, how much times do you gig? 3 times a year.
Yeah.
That's
Definitely
probably
change it
why.
every gig
Yeah,
then.
change it every gig.
Yeah.
For sure. And so in regards, so we've got the pre-gig rituals. That's cool. And then what about when you go and search for gigs? What's your process for getting a gig?
Well, at the moment, so we're booking a big tour down the east coast of Australia for next year. So we're
What months?
from like March onwards.
March onwards?
February. Okay, wife is telling me February.
February? Starting
What am I doing, darling?
here? Whereabouts? Do you know? Den Devine?
Well, yeah, I was going to talk to Dan actually.
Yeah. This is a great space.
Yeah.
And you know, the vibe's on here.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it seems.
So maybe we Den Devine in February.
Yeah. Woohoo.
The 9th. I don't know.
End of February. Oh, yeah, we're going to Africa for a bit, which would be cool.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
When? January?
End of January going into February to film a documentary.
No way.
Yeah.
Like just you just filming a documentary or?
It'll be me and Courtney. And I had one of my best friends passed away a few years ago, and her name's Emily Collins. Oh, thank you. But there's an Emily Collins school in Uganda named after her because she helped so many kids get sponsored to get, and they went all the way through from primary school all the way to college. So after she passed away, her parents started creating the Emily Collins School and the Emily Collins Foundation to help vulnerable children and women to have a safe place to live and food. And now they're building a school as well, which is really cool. And I want to go over, and it's now been, when did she die? Yeah. So 7 years, wow, since Emily passed away. And the whole point of me having a music platform is actually because the more people who are listening to what you're saying, I think it gives you an opportunity to use your platform to try and make a positive change in the world. And that's actually the whole point of the whole Majelen thing.
That's your why.
Yeah.
That's your why.
Yeah. So
that's what keeps you going whenever you feel like you're going to give up.
Yeah.
You feel like someone's just that one opinion from that argue bot. No.
Yeah.
That's the thing that brings you back to, that's your purpose.
Yeah. I mean, I love music too.
Yeah, for sure.
But I would play music and I don't need to be well known.
Yeah.
Like, I would just happily sit at home and just play guitar because it is just my safe space and always has been. But the point of sharing it with people is like I can use my voice to try to help other people.
Yeah.
So now I've started to get more of a following around the world, which is very cool, and I feel very privileged. We want to go over to Uganda, and Courtney's very good with the camera. We're going to film a documentary about the Emily Collins School and try to help out the foundation just by letting people know that it exists, because they've only been doing it for a few years and they still need funding to complete the whole school, because at the moment they've got the primary school done, but then they still need more work built. So we need to raise funds for that and all sorts of things. So, yeah, so we're doing that in February.
Yeah, that's cool. So that's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I just got to say, because it's good that people have a bigger meaning behind music and than just being famous, or I just want the girls or the guys or, you know, all that sort of stuff. I think music's got a really important purpose on Earth, and it's good people are actually using it. It's a tool. It's one of the most powerful. It's probably the most powerful tool.
Exactly.
You know, and it's been in the bad guys' hands for too long. And I don't want to say who the bad guy is. That bad guy could be the business people that are just like, I want you to write for drugs and alcohol, to promote drugs and alcohol. So then all these kids start becoming alcoholics. Yeah. Because of shots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's good people are using it for good and for raising awareness around important topics like this, because, you know, Africa has been through a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Let's be honest. And, yeah, I applaud you. So that's cool. So January, February, you're going to be over Uganda.
Yep.
And you're going to film this documentary. And when are you going to release it? Do you know?
When we finish it all. It'll be a big job.
Yeah.
And I think I will be doing all the video editing, so that'll take a while because I'm not that quick at all. I actually hate video editing, but but it'll be a long-term project, because then I also want to interview Em's parents, and they don't know about that, but they, you know, they have to be a part of it. And it's about Emily's story as well as the school. So it'll be a lot of information will have to be gathered and footage and things. So Uganda will be the start of a lot of work.
I'm glad we got that came up in the conversation.
Yeah, me
Something
too. I
like
forgot
that.
I was doing that.
Yeah. I'm like, cool. This is awesome because this is like, this is exactly what it's about. Cool. So then you come back February, you're going to go on a tour. So,
Yes.
So Courtney does all of the booking, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah, thanks, honey. No. Well, it's a team effort. Courtney's amazing. She does a lot, actually, to help out. She's very supportive.
Yeah.
Best wife you've ever had. I've only had one. but yeah. We're doing I want to do a small halls tour.
Cool.
So, because it's just chill, and then I can kind of, in the big cities, we'll do venue spaces.
Yeah.
But then I also want to play at some of the smaller towns along the way too, because I am not a city person, and just because you live in a small town doesn't mean you don't like music. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk me through your process. So do you have anything, are you planning now? So we're like, where are we now? September? Mm-hmm. Was it October, November? It's about 6 months.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
is this your first Australia tour that you do this frequently?
Well, I haven't since COVID. I
Since
haven't
COVID,
toured
so this
at
is
all
your
since.
first.
Yeah, and I did that one run of shows down to Melbourne and back, but that was like 2018, 19, somewhere around there. So I haven't toured since then in Australia.
And a lot's changed since,
Yeah.
the industry, the whole ecosystem's different.
Yep.
And that's what I want to get into now is what is your process? So we're 6 months out. So your first things, you're half a year of planning,
Yeah.
strategy.
It's a lot, really.
Yeah.
But you
This is
have
what
to.
it's about. This is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so we're doing all ticketed shows pretty much.
Yeah.
And so because
And talk me through that.
Yeah, so because I haven't played in Australia for so long now, and because COVID happened and things have changed so much, I don't actually know my ticket value anymore. So as an artist, I can't say like, yes, I will 100% have 100 or 300 people or whatever it might be show up in this city, and I know there's this many people here, and I know there's this many people here. So we're that's also partly why we want to get it locked in pretty quick and
Give
have
you
the ticket sales.
a lot of time to.
Yeah. So then we know ahead of time, like, what the ticket sales are, which then tells us how much money we're earning in each city, which then tells us if we have to then, like, change what we're doing or add in extra shows or do other things to like, help things along. And we're also advertising. So there are places in Australia that I've never been to before, and like Melbourne, I've only ever played one show in Melbourne, and I know because Facebook and Instagram and all those places give you all your metrics and all your data and stuff, so I know where people are following me and listening to my music. But then,
And on that note, so Facebook's one of your primary tools for marketing or for knowing your Spotify?
oh yeah, Spotify too.
Yeah.
Yep. Spotify, I've got mostly people overseas, so it's all in Europe and America,
Wow.
which is great.
Yeah, but now, so anyone listening, start listening here in
go
the
to
country.
Spotify, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and a lot of people just say straight out to me, like, don't bother touring in Australia. It's a waste of time. Like, just go overseas. But this is home, and I want to be able to come home and have people here, like, be a part of my journey too, because it's, So I'm very stubborn, and I'm just, even though people have kind of been like, no, just go back to London or go back to wherever, go through Europe again, because it's quite easy to do a European tour, really, I think, in comparison. Like, I feel more pressure touring Australia than I do going to Europe, because I know that I know people listen to my stuff, and people in Europe go to shows.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think, a bigger part of the culture, whereas here it's like there's covers gigs on all the time, and I think people are less like, oh yeah, we'll go out and watch stuff. So
it's sad because a part of the reason why people don't come out is because all of the talent has to go overseas to sustain. So now the real ones at the top of the game, they're either, overseas somewhere, or if they are here, they're really expensive, or they're on just festival lineups. They're not. You're not going to see Guy Sebastian at Den Devine, know?
No.
And it's like, so they've sort of dissected or segmented the talents that people are not coming out to the small venues because they're
Yeah.
like, they know I'm just going to see some crappy cover artist.
Yeah. Which sucks, actually, because if you go to America, like, there's
This is
bars
where
you
the
can
talent
walk
is,
into.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just tiny places.
Yeah.
And Europe, too. Like, it's just, you don't know who's going to be in a random spot. And, like, why is that not here?
That's why.
Because it's just,
It's the
it's like,
punters. It's
yeah.
the punters' fault.
Yes, we'll blame them.
Yeah.
Freaking cover bands.
Explore. Well, I think people should, this is real talk. Like, 1,300 venues closed last year
Wow.
out of 4,000. I bring this up a lot because I think people need to understand.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a third of all music venues. And these aren't just venues. These are APRA venues, right? They're registered with APRA, which is, do you do your performance reports?
I'm way behind. I'm like years behind.
You should.
I'm terrible.
To be
but
honest.
I need to. I need to actually get on. It's been on my to-do list for like a year and a half.
It's not until you have a friend who walks in with a freaking $3,000 camera and you go, where'd you get that performance report?
Yeah.
And you
true.
go, what?
Yeah.
Come on. And if
Yeah.
you're an original act, you can backdate 3 years.
Yes. Well, that will be my plan. When I get to it, I have a lot
Sure,
of
that'll
backdating
probably
to
help
do.
you fund your tour.
Yeah, probably actually. Because, last time I got money from APRA, it was like, oh, that's nice.
It was, COVID was what got me off my bum to do it.
Yeah, true.
Now I do it once a year and it's such a handy thing.
Yeah.
It just comes in. Last time I got my APRA payment was like last year. I was in Turkey.
Oh, nice.
My wife's from Turkey.
Oh, cool.
So we were there with our kids
Yeah.
and everything else. And then I just opened the bank account and there was this decent chunk of money. Not crazy, but I was like, that's why I do it. It's not my why, but it's like, it's annoying because you have to go and write every single performance in. It's frustrating, but it helps
Still
you
worth
stay in the industry.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
it gives you extra money, buys extra stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I was getting to a point, but and I forgot that point. It'll probably come back.
Starting to do with small venues, having big people. And
Anyway, it's people need to come out and support the small bit. That's
Yeah.
basically what I'm saying. Come out and support the local venues. Come
Yeah.
out and show some love. And why I was going APRA was because these are APRA venues, which venues the APRA venues are the most important to the music industry. They're the ones that actually create financial opportunities for the music scene.
Yeah.
Not just random side places that don't pay the APRA fees because the venues have to pay and it's not cheap. I'm sure
Yeah.
it's not cheap.
True.
Hey, Dan. And I'm sure Dan will be happier knowing that he's paying money to help artists like yourself and you're getting that money. Because if you don't do that, someone else is going to get that money.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know the magic I don't know the formula. But what I do know is that all of these venues put money in and anyone who does their performance reports gets money out.
Yeah. It's very, very lovely. Really.
It is. And I think Australia's one of the only ones in the world that do that.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure.
Huh. I didn't realize.
Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so anyway, back to it. So get out, support your local scene. Anyway, where were we? We were on you guys touring.
Touring, yes. And yes. Oh, yeah, I should talk about that, shouldn't I? Is that what you were saying before? Courtney's doing sign language.
How long you been in sign language? Obviously not long. Or-
Yeah, still practicing. I should know what this is, though.
yeah, bass.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is guitar. You were doing this.
Wrong technique, honey. That's why I had no idea what was going on. Yeah. So what she's saying is I have a signature Cole Clark guitar coming out as a Majelen model, but we can get to that after.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Let's get to that after because I want to chew in on that.
Okay.
How did that happen? That's
Yeah.
awesome, as. But yeah, okay, cool. So processes of booking your tours. So you're 6 months out.
Yep.
You start getting all of your data.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you're going to target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And this one we're driving down the coast because we live in a bus. So we're going to just drive the whole way. And that way we can take our dog and our cat with us because, they'll get sad otherwise.
Yeah.
And so we're just kind of like locking in. We're in the process of just locking in dates and locking in venues. And then once all that's locked in, then we just start advertising and just selling tickets. And then, hit the
And
road.
what ticket company do you use? Oztix or Humanitix, or
That's a good question.
you don't know yet because you
I'm
haven't
not
got
sure
to
yet.
that part yet.
Yeah.
You're at the 6 month. You're at the strategy, not at the execute
What's
part.
your favorite?
I mean, we've spent a bit of time with Oztix with Brad, and he seems pretty cool. I think that matters to me, but like to see the person, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, true.
But I know I'm hearing some pretty cool thing about Humanitix. I think that's where I want to start digging into.
Yeah.
We've used this company called Ticket Tailor, which are from Canada. They were really cool, but I think Oztix or this Humanitix might be the better ones.
Yeah.
I like Oztix because you can have the insurance that they can add onto their ticket,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
which is really good because if something happens,
Yeah, that's good. That's important.
just
in case.
Just in case. I have been bitten by not having insurance and something did happen and we ended up with this big bill.
Oh, true.
But it's all lessons. And I guess that's another reason why we're here for is,
Yeah.
that's a good thing. Having been able to insure, giving the option to people
Yeah.
that if they buy the tickets, they pay an extra $8 and now your ticket's insured. If something cancels, you get the money back straight away.
Yeah.
Instead of just, because things happen. We get sick.
Yep.
Things happen all the time. And you want to make sure you're protecting not only yourself, but the people who matter, which is your fans, But yeah, so what have you used in the past?
I think last time was like Ticketek, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure that's all. That's the only one I've really used, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty sure that's all.
Yeah. And is it scary?
Like booking a tour?
Ticketing, knowing that you
yes.
have to.
Yes. Because I haven't done it in so long. It is, it's kind of intimidating and daunting in a way, but it's also exciting because now that we're back doing this again, it's just, I kind of see it as like, you just keep building it and building it. And because we haven't toured here, it's going to be like the first rundown may not be enormous, and that's okay because after that we're going to go back to Europe and back to the UK, and we're thinking about New Zealand too for like the June, July, August sort of a period, and then more touring in Australia, and then we just keep doing it, and it's kind of just building the connection with fans again because I haven't been on the road here in so long. I don't have that same connection anymore. And I think when you're touring and you because like you get a connection from just listening to someone's music, you like it, so you form this like emotional attachment to the song, and you can see the person online, but then
you meet them.
and
then they
it's
go,
like,
you saved me. Well, they do.
Yeah.
You do save people. It's a place you can get intimate without having to be there. So it makes sense you would be saving people because when they're in the dark spot, they're putting the headphones on and you get to speak to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the more of that level of connection that you build up with people, the more like it just, I don't know, it just grow. I don't know how to explain it, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like you're fostering deeper connections.
yeah.
It's getting deeper and deeper. I know what you mean. I've got a few of these moments with fans, and it's pretty special. That you mean something to someone you never knew you ever thought you meant something to them.
Yeah.
But they do.
Yeah.
It's just quietly. Most battles in life are quiet anyway. Mm-hmm. So as a muso, I had this. Sorry to go off topic on that story on that subject. This guy I used to busk.
Yeah.
He'd sit next to me and cry. He was this big, huge, scary-looking guy.
Yeah.
And he'd just sit next to me, cry, and then walk away. And then he'd done this for like weeks and weeks. It turned out he'd murdered someone.
Whoa.
And he would just be crying about that he'd killed someone.
Wow.
And then he handed himself into the police.
Whoa. Hectic.
And I was like, that is crazy. This guy, like, was a proper murderer. He was a bikie murderer. He was like an enforcer.
That's crazy.
And he'd just sit there and cry. And I'd be like, whoa, this guy's... I never communicated with him. I didn't.
How did you find out?
It was on the news, and then it was through a whole, and then through other friends of his. Anyway, it's just you just don't know when you're touching someone, or even though I don't discriminate, even though he's a murderer. But the fact that these moments, you just don't know who you're connecting with,
Yeah,
and music's all coming back to just being human, like you said. Yeah. But anyway, just to reinforce how amazing the music is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it saves everybody in a little way.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And can you tell me about any stories that you've had?
Oh, like people coming up to me and telling me how they've
something,
been impacted?
the music. Yeah.
The first song one of the first songs I ever wrote and released is called Angels in the Dark, and it's about human trafficking and sex slavery in Thailand, which is a fun topic. But I have played that in the past at festivals, and it's kind of about my experience of being in Thailand when I was 20. I think the first time I went there I was 20, and just like walking through the red light district and seeing all these girls working on the streets who were between the ages of like 12 and 16, because by the time you're 18 you're just old. And I went to some of the villages where they'd been taken from in Thailand, up in the hills and stuff, where they just literally like rock up and they just take people, take children, and seen places where like they'll point it out to us, like this is where they keep children under 6 years old, and in that place there, and then there's one down there, and you can only go there if you're a VIP in society, and
under 6. Disgusting.
Yeah. And that's that's when it all actually, because before that I'd done my degree in jazz and I played in all these bands and stuff, but it was then that I was like, if I ever get a platform and start my own thing, I have to say something that's worth hearing, because there are so many people in the world who have a story that needs to be spoken about, because it's real and it's a massive part of society that just gets brushed over and no one wants to talk about. And I feel like it's a responsibility for me to try to not shove it down people's throats in any way, shape or form, because not everyone's a bad person. And, we're all trying to live good lives, but then there's this stuff going on in the world. And so I played this song Angels in the Dark at festivals a few times, and I had people coming up to me and telling me, actually, someone messaged me on Facebook even the other day saying their friend was very close to being in a human trafficking situation, and like women have just disappeared from people's lives, and it's crazy, but it does connect with people. Even, I mean, that's a pretty extreme song to talk about that topic, but then there's stuff like,
but that's what it's, I mean, these are the things that music needs to be used for as well.
I think so.
Yeah. That I connect with this sort of music that means something, that no matter how much it hurts. Bob Marley's my favorite artist.
Yeah.
And one lyric that I love of his is, one good thing about music, when it hits you feel no pain.
Yeah.
But I think that's the reason why it's so good. You can sing about stuff that if you were to talk about it, it's uncomfortable, but haven't been sung to you. Yeah. You feel it more. Yeah. Instead of just like making you uncomfortable because your head's like, ugh. Yeah. But when you sing it to someone, some of our favorite songs are pretty messed up. Like, even Pumped Up Kicks is.
Oh, yeah. That's a good example.
You know what I mean? Like, people are like, oh, the other kids.
Yeah, woohoo.
Run, better run. Outrun my gun. And you go, whoa. Yeah. This is about school murder, Mm-hmm. But that's the power of music. Yeah. So, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. To talk about these are the songs. These are the songs that matter.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
And then even like I've got a song about how my sister passed away when I was 5-ish and she was 6-ish, and I've had.
Sorry to hear about that.
Thank you. And yet people have come up to me after the show in tears because they've lost a daughter or they've lost a friend or they've lost, and they can relate. So and they've just sort of said like that's healed a little part of myself that I still hadn't gotten to yet. And I think music's really, really powerful for that healing.
Yeah, for sure.
Journey.
For sure. Yeah. No, thanks for opening up about that. These are hard topics to even open up. Think about musicians. We're great at writing and expressing through music, but I don't know. In the human context, it gets like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and so back to the touring aspect to come out of, to get back into that. So you'll start booking shows. Mm-hmm. Do you just contact them? Do you cold contact them? Do you use an agent? Do you use you just email them?
Yeah,
direct?
At this point, it's Courtney and I. And then if I've got mates who have played at a venue and I really want to play there, I'll be like, hey, can you just put me in touch with that person?
Sure.
Whoever books that venue, and just do it that way.
So networks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. I wanted to definitely get into this part of the industry on how independent, because you're independent, yeah?
Yeah.
So how you sustain your career.
Yeah.
So you got to do it all yourself. Got to get out there.
Yep.
Got to have the conversation with people, and you got to have a network.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It pays to be nice.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, for sure. One other part that we like that I try and bring up is there is a trinity between venues, musicians, and music lovers.
Yes.
This, I think, is the core of the foundation of the music industry. And I think that is where some of the biggest problems in the industry is how those three work together.
Oh, yeah.
So one thing I like to ask musicians and people that we can bring on here is for you to just give, it doesn't have to be advice, but more like an opinion or more like something that helps you bring your A game. So what do you have to say to all of the venues out there in the world?
What do I have to say to venues? Wow.
Yeah.
That's the question I've never been asked before.
And this is just to just to reiterate, this is to help musicians like yourself to be able to perform at your best.
Yeah.
Because some venues just treat you like crap, throw you in the corner.
Yeah, definitely. Even even when it comes to like promoting the gig too, that's one of the first things I thought of. So I'll talk about that first. But promoting the gig, they put some venues just put it back completely onto the artist. They don't actually have any role, and they won't take on any role in like creating a Facebook event and like talking about it on their social media, and like I don't know if they have a mailing list, like mailing it out to all the people that are in their thing, or even some venues don't even put up a bloody poster. Like, are you serious? I made a poster, I emailed it to you, or I posted it to you, and you don't have it up? Why? Like, just do something because you are a part of this too. But it's like some venues just put it all onto the artist, and it's like, well, this is all up to you. It's your show. We don't give a shit. We're just going to sell beer. Yeah. So, that's not a reciprocal, is that the word? Reciprocal, or like, I mean, in a creating event. Yeah,
reciprocal.
Yeah, I can't just create an event. I can't just be all like, all right, I'm going to play right now. Here. Just nowhere.
Yeah.
I need a venue. So if you're going to be the venue, do your job. Like, play your part.
And that's what I'm saying. That's the holy trinity of the music industry. When all those three pieces work together in perfect harmony,
it's great.
That's success.
Yeah.
That's what I call my definition of a successful night. I love it when you get a venue that's just on it.
Yeah.
From start to end.
Yeah,
from
so
way
nice.
Before you even come to the gig.
Yeah.
From the lead up. And the way they talk about you and the way and then you get there.
Yeah.
And then there's the next layer. But anyway, so that's great advice. Get involved, venues, right? Get involved. This is your business as much as when it all works together, that's what makes a successful night.
Yep. And if you want to be a venue that's supporting original music, like building a relationship with, because you can tell when you go to a venue who's got a really good relationship with their local customers and their local following, because a venue has venues have followings.
Yeah.
And then you go to a venue that's got a terrible relationship for, I don't know, whatever reason, and they can't, like, because I know people who they've been going to the same venue every weekend for freaking years because that venue is the place where it's just great.
Yeah.
Like, and so because do you know what I'm trying to say? Like venues have a following too.
They do.
And if you take care of that,
Yeah.
that's a big part of the industry too. That's just helping the live, local, smaller people to just have, even before they start marketing as the artist, they've already got people showing up. And then when the artist markets on top of that, then it's just great.
That's it. And that's what we got to tackle. This is what we've got to tackle is I think more and more venues have lost that aspect of what you are. You are a venue that's hosting live music.
Yeah.
The ones who have got it, it's seamless.
Yeah.
You play your best because they look at you and they go, thank you for coming to play at my venue. And you're appreciated and you're valued. Therefore, you put your heart and soul even more because you now have a loyalty to the person because they just treated you well.
Yeah.
You do that with anyone, right? If they treat you nice, you'll mow their lawns. You don't care.
Yeah.
I'll come over and wash your dishes.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because you have a relationship. So yeah, it's great. So your big one is get involved, right?
Yeah.
Get involved and look after. Do you find when you're looked after a bit more from venues? When I say looked after, I mean, full disclosure, I love it when I come to a venue and they offer me some food and they offer me something, whatever. It doesn't even if I say yes or no, but it's like I'm seeing more than just.
Yeah. It's kind of like hospitable.
Yeah.
And just welcoming. Like if someone was to come to my house, I'd be like, do you want a cup of tea? Do you want a cup of coffee? Do you want a snack? Like what do you need?
And then send in the bill at the end.
Yeah.
And be like, that was $93, thanks.
That tea bag was a pricey one, mate.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so that's anything else to say to venues?
I'd say that'd probably be my main.
If you're going to have sound as well, have a good sound, right?
Yeah. Like
Spend a
don't
bit of
just
money.
get some random guy after wherever you found him.
Yeah.
Get someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Who can listen.
Yeah. Who can listen. Second piece of the Holy Trinity is the musicians. I believe that we are one as musicians. If we all represent each other well, then the value of musicians can go up and people can believe in musicians. That's my belief.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to hold musicians accountable. And it doesn't mean about criticizing. It's just about saying, hey, musos, this is what you can do to make things better. So what do you have for, it's not just one muso, it's for all musicians,
Yeah.
What do you have for advice for them?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Got all the good chats. I guess. Well, on the flip side, you can't just put it back onto the venue and be like, oh, well, no one's here. Like you have to do your job.
Yeah.
And you have to also bring people in and put bums on seats, because I guess that's what it's really comes down to at the end of the day, for everybody to earn money.
If you're coming to the music industry for the business to make it a job, there's things you have to do.
Yeah. And I think the next thing my brain went to was a lot of musicians hate social media and hate trying to do that thing where you build a following, but you have to, like, that's your job.
Yeah.
I know you're a guitarist or you're a singer or you're a whatever, but the other, like, I think like 3/4 of the job is actually just marketing.
Yeah.
And you have to do that, and you have to have a fan base and just build that and have connections with people so that you're not playing in an empty room to two sleazy old men in the corner.
Yeah.
Because that's just bad. Like, you got to there's certain things that musicians have to do that we all hate, but you just got to do it.
Yeah.
And that helps out the venues too, because if 1,300 venues have shut down in the last year, musicians need to be helping them out too.
Yeah.
And doing what we can to make sure that when we come to play, we pack the place out. And there's people drinking and there's people having a good time and you know, like that's our responsibility too.
Yeah, for sure. I know there's people that are listening probably don't know this, but there's this crazy hammering on the side. I know you're hungry.
Can you hear it?
No. I just know because you said it, and I'm like, we're talking on pretty mentally heavy topics. So we'll start winding it back down, get some food, play some music, and do all that stuff.
All right.
And so last thing, which is is the punters. Mm-hmm. What advice do you have for punters if they're coming out to see, even if they don't know them, even if they're just in the corner and they don't know you?
Yeah.
Like, I love venues where the punters are into it.
Oh, yeah.
Ones that are just talking over you.
Like, that's so
horrible.
annoying. Yeah. Because, if you're going to just go and watch a covers band, just chat and do whatever, because I think that's what covers bands are for.
Yeah.
Nothing against covers bands, because I've done that for a long time too.
Yeah. It's just another part of the industry.
Yeah.
But we're here to talk about originals. But I know what you mean. Yeah.
But if there's sometimes it's that like one obnoxious dude or that one like slightly excessively intoxicated drunk lady at the back who's just really enthusiastic. But if you're there to listen, just listen. Yeah. And it means actually a lot as a musician and I think maybe it's my personality too. If I'm playing a song where I'm like, this is a serious thing, can you just pay attention for 5 minutes, Yeah. It means a lot when people actually do.
Yeah.
But if you want to, but also in the flip side of that, if there's a band that's obviously putting in a crap load of effort and you're just like not paying any attention and don't give a shit, it's like, why are you there?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And also, if it makes you feel fun and happy and joyous, like the musician, I appreciate it when people show me that when I'm on stage. If they're having a good time, like, just
and you put
nuts.
more into it. You put more into it. You make it. Once you've got that, you're on the pressure point, and you just keep on. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, everyone's having a crowdgasm. Yeah. And just loving life. Which is what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, we're going to shoot off some rapid fire questions.
Oh, okay.
Because these, we just want to make it fun as well.
Yeah.
Dream collaboration?
Oh. The first one that came into my head was Ed Sheeran, but that's mostly because I just got his new loop pedal. So he's the first person that popped into my head today. I don't know if that would be the case though, but I'll go with that.
Sure. Yeah. Not like Anthony Cletus or something like
that. Who is that?
From Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, yeah, right.
No, it's okay. We'll go stick with Ed Sheeran.
There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I love a lot of different weird and wonderful musicians.
And dinner with a dead celebrity?
Oh. I would love to understand. Elvis is enormous and he is like just not stopped growing even though he's been dead for donkey's years. And I would love to know what was going through his brain for him to be able to create that craziness in the
Cocaine.
World. Probably. That would help. That would probably help.
And probably some steaks.
Yeah.
Lots of things going through. No. I don't want to play him down. No, for sure. He was a creative genius and an innovator. Probably. Yeah, that'll be a good question as well. What did you do to get to that level? No, that's a good question. And your favorite instrument?
Guitar. Yeah.
Yeah. And you play a Cole Clark. So let's talk about this Cole Clark.
Yeah. So I have been endorsed by Cole Clark for a few years now, since 2018 actually, and I love their guitars because I drum on the guitar while I do all the other stuff. Mm-hmm. And I went and played over at NAMM conference in LA in January, which is pretty cool, and I represented Cole Clark and played on their stage and just at their booth when they
That's
were
pretty awesome.
selling guitars. I'd just be there like noodling in the background, trying to sell them more guitars. And because now I've got, I think most of my following is a lot of dudes who play guitar.
Yeah.
And so I have started to gain a lot more, like, hopefully I'm representing the brand really, really well. And also I've customized their Angel 2 model guitar to make it my own thing because I do a stomp in my hand. I've added a third pickup. So then people have been asking, like, where'd you get this guitar from? How'd you, like, blah, 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 blah. So they ended out saying, like, why don't we just make a signature series Majelen model Angel 2 guitar?
That's pretty, what an honor.
Yeah, it's very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's coming out, it's in production and it's coming out in the next few months. I don't know when exactly. I need to talk to Miles and find out when, but I will, it'll be for sale everywhere, all over the world.
That's pretty, wow. How does that make you feel?
Pretty chuffed. I feel pretty honoured because not a lot of people have their name on a guitar.
Yeah.
And I used to think that only really, 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 really famous people had a guitar named after them, but now I've got one.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and you're really famous.
yeah, totally.
Look, it's been an awesome conversation. I really enjoyed that we got to touch on so many topics. I hope after your trip to Africa and you start your tour off, maybe we can get you back in again.
Oh yeah,
and talk about. I'd love to. It's like now we're pre-tour.
Yep.
It's like let's have a talk just before we go on tour. Wonder if we can get something in between.
Yeah.
You come from Africa and then before you go on tour, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Would love to just sort of touch base since now.
Yeah.
Since now, it's a funny thing. I appreciate you coming along.
Thanks for having me.
And I really thank you for just. It takes a lot of courage to get vulnerable. I want to ask the hard questions, not in a hard way though, in an easy way. And, thank you for stepping up
No worries.
to the challenge of, we went to some pretty crazy corners of the industry. So yeah, thank you so much for coming along and having a chat here at this awesome, cool venue, Den Devine.
Yeah. Thanks, Den Devine. But
Cool.
thank you for asking the hard questions too. I think it's needs to happen.
And do you have any parting words for your fellow people who keep you going, which is fans?
Oh, right.
Or anyone else?
I was thinking
Anyone?
Courtney.
Or anyone coming up in the music industry, or any woman out there that are struggling with what you've struggled with, give some parting words.
I guess just don't cave, just be yourself, because you don't have to change. Even though some people might tell you that you have to, just ignore them. They don't know anything.
Yeah. Awesome, Az. And where do we find all of your are you across all borders and it's under, so spell it?
Majelen.
And it's pronounced?
Majelen.
Majelen.
Not Marjolin, because that's way too fancy for me. Grew up in Logan.
And and do you have any releases coming up?
I've got an album that's coming out soon.
Yeah.
We just have to, Courtney and I have to finish creating the actual vinyl artwork and stuff. So I don't have an actual date, but it'll be before the end of the year. And now we're working on next year's releases too. So lots of stuff coming out early next year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I mixed and mastered. Oh, so I've got music already out that I recorded at Abbey Road, and then I mixed and mastered them in the bus.
Abbey Road.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
would've
they're
been.
out.
Yeah, cool. And then February, March through till May, June? 3-4 months? Or?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. That's going to be
Down the East Coast.
Down the East Coast.
Probably from like Sunny Coast down.
Sunny Coast
And
down.
then we'll go overseas, and then I don't know if we're fitting in the northern end before we go away or if it's after we come back. But we'll be doing the whole East Coast next year.
The whole East Coast next year.
Yeah.
Awesome, Az. Thank you so much for coming along.
No
Appreciate
worries. Thanks
ya.
for having me.
I don't know. What do we do? High five?
High five's good.
High five's good. That works. Cheers.
Thank you.
Cool.